Got $35 in a six-pack to my name. Spent the rest on beer, now who's to blame? They say I'm drunk nearly all the time. Well, now I know they're just a waste of my time. Well, I know it'll be okay when I get that six-pack in me. Thank you. My girlfriend asked me which one I like better.
Thank you for doing this.
We
I know
really appreciate
we
it.
had
Oh, of course.
some whatever, but yeah, thanks, man. Thank you for making time for this.
I'm Jason. This is John.
Yeah, I'm John.
You've been speaking with the sunglassed one.
Okay, nice to meet you guys.
Same here. Of course, I feel like I know you in some respects from your book and, seeing you on like, Matt and Shane's and Dad Meeting and Little Stinkers and lots of other shows too. But, you know, that in your book, which is great, by the way, Crooked Smile,
Thank you.
You are brutally honest, I would say, in this book, but also in a there's a lot of humor in that. I think some people may almost feel uncomfortable about it, but laughing at some of these things. But what did it take to get you to a point where you felt comfortable about being honest about your life and some of these stories?
Well, it's first of all, thank you. I'm honored that you enjoyed the book. I think after you just like smoke crack and do heroin for so many years, and that's like really all that's kind of your life. I mean, you go on dates and you kind of like run out of shit to say after like 3 minutes. Besides, like I used to smoke crack, and so it's almost like unhealthy at first. Like your willingness, some people's willingness to like discuss how horrible this stuff is, but for a while it's all you have, once you get sober. And now I have other shit. Like I
Of
watch,
course.
I have cable. I can afford to like go to camping and stuff or on vacation, and I like have other stories now. But at first it's like kind of almost like well, addiction sort of creates a situation where you hate yourself, but you also think you're better than everyone else because you've like gone through this sort of stuff. So but people like the story, so I just kept telling them.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, there's some people, I know a lot of addicts, friends with addicts related to a long line of addicts. And a lot of times there's recovering addicts will like to romanticize things, the stories, almost to the point where it's like that's the new fix, trying to like,
Well, how else are you gonna get laid, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But I mean, but I can understand that. I mean, those are great stories, and I think people from the outside don't experience that, so they're always going to open their ears to that. And but you do such a great job with that.
No,
I
thank
mean,
you.
you being a gifted storyteller, I think, is as important, if not more so, than the situations you were in. You're a very
Right.
smart. Yeah, you have a certain charisma about you that is very novel to your approach to these things. And what I've been able to read of your stuff is I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
How you allow your verbiage and your approach to it. It's singular. And
Yeah.
you do hold that wonderful thing that the best do, that you can take the same story and you can make me laugh my ass off till I piss my pants, or you can completely break my heart and depress me, depending on how you feel telling it that day. So
Yeah.
that's a gift,
yeah,
man.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there's a thing when you get clean off drugs, you like go to NA or AA or whatever. And yeah, if you like want to get laid, it's like a competition of like who is the biggest badass and who sold the most amount of drugs. And I went to, my introduction to getting sober was with my dad, who um so everyone would like tell their badass stories, and my dad would tell these stories that were just funny and almost like pathetic, and like kind of like showing like the raw, like this is how pathetic you get when you're on drugs, and very self-deprecating, and I kind of like, and people loved it, so like I just, and I
So
never.
how'd you become friends with comedians?
Yeah, I was gonna say that translates so great in the comedy world, man.
Well, yeah, that's why I love comedians. I think I just, I got clean. I was like doing construction, and just had ear pods in all day, just like listening to self-deprecating comedians tell stories. Like these are like the early days of podcasts, you know, like
Mhm.
2012, 2013, 2014. And yeah, just I think that probably played a role in my, because comedians don't go on stage and talk about how badass they are. That's not funny.
No,
Yeah, it's
no.
not. No one
Yeah.
wants to hear it.
I mean, like, I can't imagine Jim Norton getting on stage and just bragging about
Yeah.
himself. You know, the thing that made
Yeah,
him so
exactly.
great was like,
Yeah.
you know, it was always like, you're a fucking zilch, like,
Yeah.
you zilch, you fat, you know, whatever it was. Um,
Yeah.
do you ever have people like, I mean, I'm sure it happens, but I know you said people want to hear these stories, they like hearing these stories. But do you have people recoiling, like when you're telling some of these stories? Um, are they not prepared for that mentally, or is it usually like people are wanting more?
I've had it. I mean,
Yeah,
I've sort of tested the waters with certain people. I mean, certain people just don't want to hear about this stuff, or they want to
right.
cry, or they want to, like, you know, I told like some small Asian girl that I like, this friend that I have that just, you know, that has nothing to do with her being Asian or anything, but she's just uh like a tech girl that works in San Francisco that's like 4'10" or whatever. And I was like, you know, I hit someone with a metal pipe one time and I don't know if they died. And like, you know, she like flipped out. And I was trying to be funny. And I was like, I know he didn't die. Like I checked him after, like it was fine. But there are people that like, there's people that don't want to hear it, but there's so many people that do, because everyone sees crackheads and junkies, and I kind of like bring a face to that and a voice to that. And it's not like a woe is me voice. It's kind of like a, hey, like, you know, these people all got good stories. They're all humans deep inside, and they're just under the kind of sort of mind control of drugs right now. But there's, I think people like it because it's like, oh, there's a human inside those, you know, those
Yeah.
Inside of every one of
vessels
them.
just wandering around, you know. Yeah, like so I think people do enjoy it
Yeah,
in
he
general.
didn't die after you hit him with a pipe. He died when you came back and shot him.
Exactly. Well, the good thing about drug addicts is they're really weak. So like when drug addicts fight each other, like nothing really it's like when two 5-year-olds fight each other. It's like you can just wail on each other. Nothing really happens.
Yeah,
Unless it's a meth head the first few dozen times. Now those guys,
Yeah.
when they start, they got some power.
No,
Real
that is true.
horsepower. Yeah.
although I saw a meth head get punched in the face and crumble by this really drunk skin, like he was twice his size.
But he was a dedicated meth head at that
He,
point.
he was, yeah. He had he'd been up for several days and had been
Yeah.
seeing, actually got
he was mostly
committed.
he was mostly cardboard at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. He got
Yeah,
committed for
exactly.
seeing clowns, which is great. But yeah, I mean, you know, just mentioning meth heads,
Mhm.
you know, it's maybe not ideal, but I think meth heads maybe have they're the best spectator addicts because, I mean, dude, they're active.
Well, they're certainly the
Yeah.
best commentary.
True, true. What do you think, in your opinion? Because, I mean, you know, I've got countless stories of seeing various things from different meth addicts that I know.
Yeah,
Um,
meth heads are definitely incredibly creative, and they're usually up to some. They're always up to something, and
yeah,
it's usually something that's half way in reality and halfway not in reality, or sometimes full way out of reality. But I used to live at this homeless shelter that like you couldn't leave. It was like a kind of a drug program on Skid Row, and there was like this smoking deck with like a grated window thing that we could look out, and we called it crack TV because it was basically just a screen. You could just look down and you could just watch crackheads. I think crackheads are more entertaining because meth heads are, they're too delirious, whereas a crackhead is like the main objective is to get $5 at all
Mhm.
times. Like so like they're kind of still in reality to some extent, and just watching them figure out ways to get $5 or try to fight each other or I think, but it's definitely meth and crack. Heroin addicts are not interesting to watch
No,
at all.
they're sleepy heads.
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
The crackheads that we used to have here, man, the most entertaining, performative, really creative people. We had one guy, his name was Gary. Everybody knew him. He rode a bike that he stole from a kid.
Well,
As soon as
not
he got
just
out
one
of
bike.
jail.
He always stole a
No,
bike
no,
from a kid.
yeah, it was a bike stolen from a kid as soon as he got out of jail. It was like a BMX style bike.
Yeah.
It's classic. Yeah, but
And
stealing
Sometimes,
a bike. It's
Well,
too small for you.
Yeah, sometimes a Barbie bike, which
Yeah.
was all
that happened a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
I see
Where
them
is
going in.
that? That's in Philly?
No, no, this
we're-
is in North Carolina.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why
Oh,
we
you guys
talk
are in
so
North Carolina?
fucking
Okay.
yeah. We talk like hillbillies.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Yeah, the thing with Gary is like he literally was peddling a Barbie basket in the front bike down the street one day. Like, Gary, where'd you get that bike? He's like, I bought it. It's like, no, you didn't, Gary.
No, you didn't. This is a guy that fell asleep in a
in the manger
in a major scene with where the baby Jesus was, and
the day before Christmas Eve, December 23rd, and he was sleeping in there like the little Lord himself with a blanket.
Yeah.
He took the baby Jesus out, put him on the ground, got in the manger, and was asleep.
What's that story about him burning down what was that?
Oh, okay. So like the half trailers that people can actually haul camper style trailers.
Yeah.
The old ones that looked like they were Tic Tac.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There was one of those that had no water or power, but Gary had kind of claimed it as his home. It was abandoned just off the side of the road, and everybody called it Gary's house. So Gary was in there, and there was a fucking fire. That thing was ablaze. And they go in and they put it out, and they're thinking, we're gonna go in there and Gary's gonna be cooked, right? Gary was in the only unmarked parts of the trailer. His boots were a little singed. His pants were down to his ankles. He had a fucking porno mag and a stem next to him. He was passed out with the porno mag on him. It to the point of like dick in hand.
Yeah.
It was magnificent. He was a miraculous fellow. He would do the crackhead shuffle for you when he was in jail.
Is he around? What happened to him?
Regrettably, he passed of just like old age.
Yeah. Strangely, I saw this guy. He was again on a bike, and this was like maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and everybody there in line is drunk except for Gary, who's on a bike with change in his hand, and he keeps nodding off and falling, and all the change keeps going into the drive-thru. They've already kicked him out of the drive-thru at this point, like 3 or 4 times, but he's coming around asking. I don't know what he was really
goal oriented.
Yeah, I have no idea what he was actually trying to buy there, but
well, and also I want to hear your stories, but I got to tell you the last one about Gary. Sunday morning, we're driving down the road together, and like in the middle of it's called Park Street. It's one of the nicest streets in the town we're from. There's Gary in the fucking middle of the road, passed out, hands all around him, bike still around, like he's still astride the bike, passed out in the middle of the road. And for a second, I was like, maybe we should just keep going. Maybe this is natural selection. But, at that point, I know Gary, and he knew Gary. So we turned around and got him out of the road. Gary, you need an ambulance? Oh, no, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Can you help me get my cans? Yeah, I guess I can help you get your cans, Gary.
I like that we were like conspirators in that.
Yeah.
Boy, we're like, why not, Gary?
Yeah,
it's fine.
Well, people love a crackhead. I mean, there's like your neighborhood crackhead is kind of like remember when there used to be like alcoholic bums, and it was just kind of like, it wasn't like your uncle or anything, but he's like kind of like a mainstay of your life. And
sure.
Crackheads can maintain that, but meth heads they get too wild, and they're not like, you don't really want to run into them all the time. They're just a crackhead. There's something more simplistic and sweet about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I worked in narcotics when I was a cop for quite a few years. For like 5.5 years, I worked in narcotics, and the education you get, like the whole, they start you off on the war on drugs thing, and then you start seeing the human cost, and you're like, this is all bullshit. This is all bullshit. Like, this is completely ass backwards. But you see everybody.
Well, you make a good point about how there's a lot of, I guess, I mean, to me, it's like fetishizing some addicts, like people will fetishize them for, I guess, their own cause instead of like the human element of it. And sometimes it's enabling them. Because I think you credit like being arrested for sort of helping you get clean, right?
Yeah, it definitely helped. I mean, there's certain aspects of this, like, there were periods of time when we were putting people in prison for like, ungodly amounts of time for like, just having a crack rock or something. Like, I don't support that kind of stuff,
No,
but
no, for
No.
sure.
but like definitely like yeah, getting stopped in my tracks when I was being, kind of a menace to society or whatever and getting put in jail definitely helped. Um, and ultimately I did go for long enough to finally like get off heroin and crack and all that.
I'm
But it
sure that
didn't like
was a miraculously fun time too.
I had I had a great time.
Yeah.
Oh well, getting off of it, I didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't like that, but it was it really wasn't that bad because I've been to detoxes and stuff, and there's this psychological pain of knowing that I could just walk right out the door and just go back to that life. But in jail, there is a freedom of knowing that you're not going to get high. Like you got to kick heroin, and it almost makes it easier. And I'm not saying that I don't think we should just lock everyone in a box until they kick, but certainly if they like, break into a car or something, you should probably take them to jail for a little bit and clean them up. And then, but ultimately, like I support, long-term treatment centers and
Absolutely. Yeah.
sort of reintroduce people into society and all that. And jail doesn't exactly do that, as we all know. But I mean, I think it was greatly beneficial to me, but I've seen it work the other way for a lot of people. Yeah.
Same here.
There's from what I understand, there's like an element of shame that people have to overcome when they're using. And I'm sure that being like sort of the stigma of being in jail, prison doesn't help that. So I'm sure that kind of maybe perpetuates the cycle for some people, Um,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
you had some interesting encounters in prison with like white supremacists, being a Jewish man yourself, pretty interesting.
And looking a little Ed Norton-y.
Yeah,
I mean, you're a handsome fella. You got some Ed
Thank
Norton
you.
looks. So, they
Thank you.
probably,
I've heard that before. Yeah, this a girl came up to me on Skid Row was with a church and was like handing out food and stuff, and she actually told me I look like Edward Norton, and that was in 2011. That's the last time someone said that to me. But obviously, it's a compliment. I thank you for that. But
well, you still look more like Ed Norton in 2011 than Ed Norton
yeah,
now.
not
Yeah,
now, Ed
Yeah,
Norton.
so
It's like
yeah,
Fight Club Ed Norton.
yeah,
Not,
yeah. You looking good, man. You shredded.
thank
You
you.
got a good.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
What is this
Uh,
turning
well, yeah.
into?
Well, I don't look like Harvey Weinstein. So like when I went into jail, no one like immediately was like this guy, they didn't, I am half Jewish, I guess if you want to like break it down by percentage or whatever. But
This is
and
just for the race war, nothing more than
exactly.
Yeah, just for the
yeah.
you got to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't, but honestly, I don't think it helps that I was half Jewish. I think if I was full Jewish, they would have still been really cool with me. I also think it's just, unfortunately, like people react a lot to how people look, like just the way you look really plays a role in how you're gonna get along and how, if people like you. And I just looked like them. That's just what it came down to. And I think they just were like, you're fine, you're fine. But in reality, they were I don't know. They don't have a ton of power in there. It was mostly like the Peckerwoods who are just basically normal white guys, and they needed people, and they viewed me any body is an asset at that point, and as long as you're not making problems, that they're if I made problems, I'm sure they'd utilize the fact that I was Jewish to like maybe give me trouble or whatever. But if as long as you don't make problems, people just want to get along and have a good time, and they actually thought it was pretty cool, that they never really met a Jewish guy before.
That's crazy. I'm sure that's the root of a lot of this.
Well, it is confirming a lot of my beliefs right now. But yeah, please elaborate.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we don't have the hoods on, so relax,
Yeah.
man. Okay.
No, this is a different tinfoil helmet. I'm
Oh, gotcha.
By the way, can you stop the weather right now because it's really killing us right now?
Exactly. Well, they kind of thought that, and
Mhm.
and I think I can, I was like, I'm in here with you, and if I really, if I could make a phone call and get out of here, don't you think I'd do that? And I can't. I was just a crack. They viewed me as a crackhead who was doing some crime, and they realized, okay, well then, I guess not all Jews control the weather.
Right. Yeah.
Not all of them, but
And every time they toss your bunk, they didn't find a yarmulke 1 in there. So,
No,
fuck.
exactly. Exactly. No, they did. They actually gave me a yarmulke when I got the kosher meal.
Nice.
Which and they gave me a yarmulke with my kosher meal. And I've never worn a yarmulke or anything. I'm not like a practicing Jew or anything like that. And not so my family isn't either, but you kind of have to pretend to be one if you want to get the kosher meal.
Well, yeah. And see, the Brothers of Islam won't fuck with you about pork either, so you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. No, and there were Muslims in there. They were totally cool. Everyone was. Maybe I just got really lucky. I don't know, but everyone was really cool. But it was a different time. I mean, this was 2015 to 16. It was different then. I don't know what it's like now.
Let's not find out.
Yeah.
None of us.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, there is that little Diddy incident that I had, but that's fine. I mean, I'm sure that
Oh,
my
you're gonna
name will
get
pop up.
indicted, motherfucker. You done for.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? I mean, I think he's gonna skate, man. He's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna skate right into a shank.
Did you know that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get off.
Did you know that Usher lived with him when he was 13?
Mm-hmm.
I found that out today.
Yeah, he
They
talked
sent him
about it
like
on Howard Stern.
Yeah, Usher, or it was like Diddy boot camp. Nice.
Diddy booty camp.
Yeah.
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 Well, I don't know if Usher's made a statement, but I'm sure people are trying to interview him. I mean, but he may be scared to come out. I mean, like that's why I think they're just going to start killing people.
They
Yeah.
will.
This just can't come out,
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna point any fingers, but it's
Do it.
far
Start
too
pointing.
much like other things that have happened like this before, and it's gonna have to be the night of the long knives at some point.
Yeah.
Either that or they're gonna start throwing those fucking metal plates on people's mouths like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also heard he had to close down the studio.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dave Chappelle.
That
joke
is an old joke.
Yeah, from whatever year that was. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, there's gotta be just a laundry list of celebrities. Just I mean, Kevin Hart was just there in a video by association, and he's already catching hell about it, which
because he opened some restaurants with him. The vegan restaurants.
yeah, and he did look like a
Oh, yeah, I
13-year-old
heard
boy
about that.
too.
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, he opened vegan restaurants, so I
I
think
did
he's
hear
just
he
more.
opened up some vegan restaurants. Yeah.
I think he's
I
just
didn't
more
even know that.
ashamed about the vegan thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, they all know. Shut it down.
He had a dish called Kevin's Heart of Artichoke. No.
Oh, that sounds good. Actually, I like artichoke hearts.
I do
I ate
too.
some yesterday.
I love them.
I'm going to take back that statement.
You
Let's just
should.
pretend like that never happened.
That's what ended this interview out of everything else.
So you're releasing your book. I mean, the response has been pretty awesome. You're getting, kind of a wide range of people.
Exposure,
Yeah,
yeah.
exposure. Were you surprised? Have you been surprised about that? Like, I mean, from like Jesse Waters all the way to like,
Us.
Matt and Shane, yeah, all these people. It's a wide range of people. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised. I didn't really know how any of this worked. I thought you just, wrote a book and then all of a sudden you sent it to a publisher and they said, we love it. And then they help you promote it on all this stuff and your life changes. And, I that's not what happens. And it was actually really hard to get the book deal. And I never really thought I'd go on TV or anything like that. And the Jesse Waters stuff was the first stuff, that was like the first thing. And because when I started writing the book, like addiction and homelessness wasn't like a national issue, really. I mean, it may have been, but it wasn't like in the news. I mean, it really, after COVID got really big. So I kind of saw that and was like, oh man, I might be of value to somebody that's trying to, promote a certain, idea about California or whatever. And listen, I have my problems with California, and I was happy to go on and say these are the issues that I have with their policies regarding homelessness and addiction. But I really like comedy, and I just was trying to figure out how am I going to promote this, and I just started hitting up comedians, and comedians are actually pretty nice people, and they're pretty easy to get in touch with sometimes.
I mean, you don't have to lie on here, man. It's fine.
I swear to God.
Mike
No, I
Rainey's
mean
the biggest asshole I've ever met. So
Yeah,
I
he's
think-
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like to everyone's surprise. Like, I mean, well, first of all, Mike Rainey's like one of the nicest
Yeah,
guys on the.
it's great.
Obviously, he's joking, but like he really is. I mean,
Mhm.
these comedians are like incredibly selfless and incredibly nice, and I noticed it, because I've just been a fan of comedy for so long that it seemed like it was an industry where, for the most part, if people liked you and they thought you were funny, they'd do what they could to help you. If they were like a higher up comedian or whatever. So. Whereas like in acting, I would imagine that it's like the opposite. You're like, because this is like a competitor for your role or whatever,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just started reaching out. I ran into Sam Tripoli a few times, just like in the street, and like it was almost like it was meant to be or something. We just kept running into each other, and we became friends. And my publisher, wanted to promote this as like a political book and go like the grift route or whatever. And I'm down to go that route too. But like, I've just gotten better luck with just reaching out to comedians because they think it's funny. They think the book's pretty funny. So
Yeah.
And they're no stranger to
Or-
like hardship and all the reality that you put forth. 'Cause
yeah, exactly. And yeah, a lot of comedians are sober or they
Mhm.
struggle themselves or they at least know a comedian that overdosed or I mean, just like, it's prevalent in the comedy community. So I never thought I'd be on Matt and Shane's. I mean, I never in my life thought that,
It was a great
but
episode, by the way.
thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, you were a boss on that episode. That was fantastic.
Thank you. It was like it was just unbelievable that opportunity even came up. And Matt is like a superstar, obviously, but it's like surprise, he's like an incredibly nice guy and an incredible. I mean, I knew that. I listened to him for so long, I could tell he was just like a genuine good guy. Um, yeah, and he's amazing on the podcast, and he's amazing off the podcast.
Yeah,
He helped me a lot.
when you talk to him, in conversation, person to person, he's just the dude that you always hoped he would be. And
Yeah.
it's an amazing
Yeah.
thing. It really is.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And a really thoughtful person too. I mean, he really takes time to like think about things and listen. And of course he's makes the joke, but it's always he always keeps
Yes.
the issue in hand. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of those guys are like that. You mentioned competition, and I think there was probably that sort of element in the podcast world, and there is to a degree in the comedy and podcast world. But especially those Philly guys, man,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like, let's bring everybody up with us. And I think it's
like
just,
we're our own white supremacist gang.
yeah, it's like
Everybody's taken care of.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's what I really know because I out of COVID, I lived in LA at one point. I go to the Comedy Store and it was cool and everything, and then COVID kind of happened, and I started listening to Matt and Shane, and it was like this beautiful thing where like obviously Shane became like was getting bigger, and he just was like my friends are funny too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring them around and I'm gonna expose them to people and so I just thought I want to contact people in that circle because it seems like a genuinely good-hearted circle of crazy talent also that
Yeah.
And just the best people from all walks of life. Like it's maddening when you get to know like that's the real circle. Like these people on paper shouldn't be anywhere near each other, and they're like family. It's awesome. It's great to see them.
Yeah.
It's great to be a part of what they're doing. And
you
you
got
fit
white
in,
guys,
dude.
black guys. You got Ian Fidance,
yeah.
who's a gay guy or whatever, but I don't know what he is, but he's from he's from Delaware or something. I mean, just this like it's the capital of comedy. I mean, the Mid-Atlantic. It seems like it became the capital of comedy.
Yeah, I think Ian has a Z in his initials now. It's fucking crazy. He's the guy. He's like the first bisexual. So,
Yeah.
Look, that motherfucker has been so nice to us. He's been on here for
He's
times.
great.
Yeah.
Just stellar person.
And he gave us a tip a long time ago, whatever your sexual preference is. Always use a flashlight to look in an asshole.
Keep a flashlight by your bed. I still keep one by my bed to this day.
Yeah. If you're gonna look in an ass, or if you're gonna
go
be in that area, take a flashlight, take a look first.
Coal miner, don't go down there without a light.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
male,
actually
female, whatever it is, man. Just that
is actually good advice.
Yeah.
Because I've got you get down there, sometimes you can't see, and there is you taste something and you should have got a flashlight.
It's a
Yeah.
shady place by nature.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like Harlan
Yeah.
County.
Exactly. I don't know.
You know?
I can already tell that's a fucked up county.
Yeah, it's
It's
a coal miner country there. It's
Okay.
they all have the lights when you go
in
down
Kentucky, West Virginia, right
Yeah.
at the border. It's yeah, it's pretty famous. There's a documentary called Harlan County, USA from like the 70s, and there Duke
Yeah, if you
Energy.
want some more depressing shit,
Yeah.
just go ahead and watch that.
It is pretty depressing. It's Duke owned basically the mines, and basically these people were indentured servants, and
Jesus.
they worked to be able to live in their homes.
Mhm.
That was it. They had nothing else, and they found out that like you can make more money elsewhere, and all of a sudden Duke's like they started protest or striking,
Mhm.
and violence breaks out. It's really insane,
In
actually.
the 70s?
Yeah, this is in the late
Oh my
70s.
God.
Mhm.
And
And
then
Duke the school?
say what?
Duke the school?
Yeah,
Same
well,
family.
same family.
They have an energy
Oh,
company.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a
Okay.
large energy company.
They're also evil in college basketball.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fucking
Damn.
Christian League.
That's great. That sounds like some 1870s shit, but yeah, man, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, that whole wasn't that the whole deal, the company store and all that?
100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, I mean, the area has just become this haven of meth and actually of
Pills.
opiates. Yeah.
Pills. If you ever want to
Yeah,
watch,
sure.
or if you haven't, I'm sure you have. You watch The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That part of that area is a fallout from that.
Yeah, yeah. People always are like, how do we solve the problem on like a larger scale? And it's like, people need, you can't, people need jobs and careers, and they need to be able to buy a house and support their family and feel contentment around like their ability to provide. And, so yeah, no, obviously, yeah, that place got rocked.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, I'm sure like Detroit, Detroit got rocked, and maybe we're all about to get rocked. I don't, I hope not.
Well, I mean, let's hold on, because look at us. The two of us are going to do all right in a law society.
It's true. It's true.
We are road warrior ready. I've got the
Yeah.
hockey pads and the spikes on the shoulder pads.
I've got a pillow to cry
Medieval-
on.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be great.
John,
gonna
You
go
guys
run
have
it.
a podcast, you
Yeah.
have supplemental income. I mean, this is good.
It's gonna be great. We'll be at that point. It'll be like a
you
a
finally
rock,
you can
and
finally be a poet, John.
I want to be like Mad Max podcasting. Just
No electricity.
no
We're
electricity.
just sitting there screaming from a fucking high position.
We'll have
Guess
helmet,
what dick joke I heard
we
today?
have face paint and like metal helmets
Yeah.
with spikes on it. Yeah.
At least people
Yeah,
won't
we'll
accuse us
get
of ripping
there.
on.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, dude, you have been incredibly generous, man. I know you got a lot of stuff going on, but we just wanted to keep you on it and have fun. And dude, this has exceeded any expectation. You are a stellar individual.
So
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you had.
no, I was gonna ask, are you writing another book at this point? Are you working on anything with writing, or what's anything plans that you can talk about at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really, I wrote basically my whole life in that book, so I
Mhm.
can't do another like life book, but I could do like fiction, or I could I guess I could do like hey, here's the sobriety book, like this is what I've been up to since I've been sober, but that's not that exciting, but I guess it could be emotive and powerful, I guess, but I kind of want to make a documentary based on the book, and I know I was like messaging with one of you guys. I found this footage of like my parents like smoking crack, and
Yeah.
which is crazy. And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
not
thinking,
usually in the old Christmas pile. When you look at the VHS
no,
collection.
this is
Yeah.
like, this is like unbelievable. I basically was taken away from them in 2001, and my dad was like an industrious crackhead guy that would like to fix things, and he got into like his camcorder phase, and he just started fixing these camcorders, and then he would just set them up for like 2 hours and just film, and him and my mom talking and all that. So
So
about
they
how
did the
they're
first podcast.
it was
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
a podcast.
yeah,
It literally was. And so there's like all this footage of them just like talking and doing drugs and like talking about how they're gonna get me back. And it was like really emotional for me. I was like all fucked up. But it could make a pretty good documentary combined with like the story of the book and all that. So I may be doing something like that. But I think I'm gonna go to Austin in October. I'm moving. I'm getting the hell out of Oakland. I don't, I'm from Oakland, California. I'm not a huge fan of it at the moment, but I'm gonna go move back to Austin for a bit and just try to do podcasts and maybe try to do stand up or something. I don't know. I know that's like I don't want to, I don't want Crack Amico to make a song about me or anything.
No, that's the mark. You made it.
Well,
Crack's a buddy of ours.
he's a friend of ours. He's
Yeah.
from
I know he's amazing.
North Carolina, and
Yeah.
at any time
I've asked that
anybody
jackass to make a song about us 100 times. He won't fucking do it.
No, he's like, I don't. You guys aren't important enough.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Nobody knows y'all. Fuck y'all.
Yeah,
I guess it is the sign of success when he makes a song about you.
yeah.
But, yeah.
I think Robbie Goodwin was pretty happy.
Yeah,
we put him
Robbie,
in that
yeah.
song.
He got bumped.
Yeah,
So.
even
But
What's the Robbie Goodwin thing? Who's Robbie Goodwin?
he's a comedian. They actually do a podcast together called the Crowder Boys with Dalton Pruitt, who
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
yeah. So they all three do a podcast.
if you ever
He
get a
has
chance
some-
to talk to Dalton, I think you two would have some interesting stories.
yeah, Dalton's a real
Dalton
funny dude.
lost his mind and had to be institutionalized.
Really? Oh yeah, I'd love
based
to
off-
talk to
yeah.
Dalton. Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. Yeah, he seems like a funny guy.
He was they had a podcast called The Loud Boys,
The Loud Boys.
and it got really popular, and then things happened or whatever. But Robbie was on that show with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Oh, Crack Amico. Yeah, he added Robbie into one of his verses about I can't remember what song it was now.
I can't
Shit,
remember.
I'm blanking. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
yeah.
listen, I'm a huge fan of his. I mean, the guy's a genius, I think. But he has never. You're not going to be, or what is it? You'll never be a comic.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I don't want to be like, if I try comedy, I don't want to be like, you're an author, he does the whole verse and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he would make a song about me, but that song made me think like, you don't want to be one of these guys. You don't want to be Jeremy Piven or whatever, where you try to do, I'm not even famous. Like, maybe I could get away with it, but,
I think you've got carte blanche, dude. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you have real
Yeah.
experience. I think
Yeah.
the difference is that these guys are faking their life experiences and then trying to put it out there as
Yeah.
genuine. Whereas like
no one's gonna be able to tell your story.
yeah,
You can tell
That's
it. That's it. That's it.
yeah.
I think
Okay,
it's where
well, maybe I'll try it at 35. Maybe I'll jump into it. I don't know.
dude.
Oh shit, dude. You're good.
Okay.
Dude, Bernie Mac didn't start doing comedy till he was 35. He drove a fucking bread
No
truck.
way.
Yeah, dead serious.
Oh,
Hey.
fuck.
And that's when 35 is like 55 now. So
Wait, so when he's on Def Jam at like 38 or something?
I
Yeah,
think like 36, 37. He did the
That-
black
I-
clubs for a couple of years and skyrocketed.
I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
in Charlotte, North Carolina. They filmed that.
No, that
Really?
was King of Comedy, not
Yeah,
the
we're
Def
just-
Jam.
Oh, that's right. That was a different.
Def
set.
Jam was way before that.
Yeah, it was
when he
different
was
set.
wearing the
Yeah.
loud.
Is he from North Carolina?
No, he's from
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he's from Chicago. Okay.
yeah.
But no, dude,
Yeah.
there's no limit.
Plus,
It's
I guess
all
there's
it's all
yeah.
fucking fake, dude. There's
Yeah.
nobody who can stop you.
Yeah, that's
Nobody.
And Austin has a lot of those Philly guys are there now, and they're super helpful down
Yeah.
there. Lots of good people there.
yeah. I lived there for a few years. It was awesome. It was starting to really pick up, and then I just went back, and it was like like I ran into like Lemaire and shit. Like everyone's there. Crazy.
Did Lemaire hug you by any chance?
Lemaire hugged me like I've never been hugged.
Mhm.
He like knew me. I don't even know how the fuck he knew me. But
It's
he-
sanctifying. A
Yeah.
Lemaire hug is sanctifying.
yeah, it was great. He's amazing. I ran into Gardini. All these guys.
Yeah. Guard dog.
And yeah, they're wonderful. Great guys.
Yeah, I think you'll do well there, man, for sure. I think it's a good time to be there.
And people
It's-
want to root for you. I mean, you're a good dude. You got a great story, and you're on the right side of things.
Thank
I
you.
think you're.
everyone loves a crackhead.
I personally am extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
I have helped people with addiction. When I was in law enforcement, and every once in a while somebody calls me up or whatever and needs a little support. But dude, you are an exceptional person. All you gotta do is be you. That's it.
Thank you.
Easiest thing in the
people-
world.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and yeah, people love a reformed drug addict. I mean, it brings warmness to your heart. So like I'm very lucky that there's all kinds of other things that you can be an ex of, and people aren't that stoked on you. But it's cool. Everyone's really supportive. So
Well, I mean, I understand. I mean, you go to one kid's party without pants, and then people
I knew
you
it.
make-
I knew
you
it
go
was
to
coming. I knew it was coming.
Hey, man, I lost my pants
That judge is
at
a
the
real.
Chuck E. Cheese. So how was I supposed to have them at the party? You know what I mean?
Judge is a real stick in the mud, isn't he, John?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was his kid's party, but fuck him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's stoked on a guy that's an ex, sex offender or whatever. I don't know if there is such thing as I guess there's a few ex-sex offenders, but yeah, it's mostly people are pretty nervous about, because if you relapse on drugs, it's sort of just on you. It's not like someone
Sure,
gets
yeah.
molested or something.
Right.
So, yeah, everyone's been super supportive, and we'll see. I mean, it's funny when you smoke crack and you do heroin and you're homeless and you get up to all kinds of crazy shenanigans. I mean, it's funny. It's unfortunately there's a lot of funny shit that happens.
I'm grateful you're here to tell the story, man.
Yeah.
Tell it very well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and again, I hope you will come back and we'll just shoot the shit next time or
Yeah,
whatever.
we
you
talk
wanna
about
do, man.
anything with
Like,
you handsome Ed Norton looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
Anytime you want to get on here and just chit chat.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. I'm down to come on anytime, and I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I know that we went back and forth so many
Dude.
times. I was traveling, but I'm honored to come on.
No, you making time for us is great. You did us a favor, so
We appreciate it.
and we changed too, so it was on us as well. So, dude,
I
I'm
blame
grateful.
John. I
Grateful.
blame John.
Yeah, it's my fault.
That's okay.
Yeah, I had a
Well,
pants issue. Okay,
Yeah.
I had to deal with
again,
it.
second time.
Second time, well, second or 12th, but whatever.
Why did you steal his robe and say it was your law kimono?
Well, listen, I'm a big fan of the Far East,
That's fair.
and I'm talking about the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
That's fair.
So, anyway, I don't know. Listen, everybody,
What's your social stuff? What's you on?
My Twitter's Jared. I think it's just Jared Klickstein. And my Instagram is jklickst, but if you search Jared Klickstein, you'll see it. And yeah, the book's on Amazon. Just search Crooked Smile, Jared Klickstein on Amazon. If you're interested in it.
yeah, I guarantee
Yes.
you,
You
will love this book.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's entertaining. It's funny. It's it's got a little bit of everything. But you guys who listen to our show definitely will love it. Right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much again. Like I said, come back anytime. We'd love
And
to have you.
good luck with the move, man. You're gonna do good with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, guys. Thanks so much.
Back
All right,
at you,
dude.
brother. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Yep. See
Have
you
a
later.
good one. Later.